I'm Mixcaru, and today we're going to play Nancy Drew's Secrets Can Kill. This is the very first Nancy Drew game that was ever made by Her Interactive, the people who make these Nancy Drew games, and this is the very first one. It is not its original format, as I think it came out in 1999, maybe 2000, something like that. And it's been remastered since then, so this is not what it looked like when I originally played it. And I think I played it in like 2004 or 2005, something like that. So it's been a while. I don't remember much about the game except the actual bad guy of the scenario, but I'm not going to tell you who that is. You'll have to try to figure that out for yourself. But yeah, other than that, there's just these random details I remember, and otherwise everything is going to be completely new to me. So, if you don't know, Nancy Drew games are sort of puzzle-based mystery-solving games where Nancy goes around, talks to subjects, solves puzzles, and tries to figure out who the perpetrator of the crime of the day is. And she always seems to find a lot of secret, like passageways and stuff. Pretty much every single game. Not this one as far as I can remember, but on the other hand, I've forgotten a lot, so who knows. Alright, so for this case, we can look at the case file to find out what exactly Nancy has been asked to do. So for the current assignment, a student named Jake Rogers was killed at the local high school last week. An undercover detective by the name of Beach asked Aunt Eloise if I could go undercover to investigate the murder. I'm posing as a new student to see what the other kids may know about Jake and his untimely end. Alright, so we're going to a school where a murder has been committed. I find it interesting that an undercover detective has asked a teenager, Nancy's like 17 years old, to be his partner. On the other hand, since she is 17, she can, be a convincing high school student, which maybe he can't, and maybe he's like, oh, she'll do a better job of getting closer to the students than I would. So that is our current assignment. Alright, so let's dive in. I'm going to go with Junior Detective because it'll give me a nice checklist. It does make the games a little bit easier, which for games that I'm really familiar with, I find a little bit, I don't really like it. But yeah, for this one, I'm going to go with Junior Detective just because the task list makes it a lot easier to figure out where I'm going next.
Dear Dad, who would have dreamed taking a vacation to visit Aunt Eloise in Florida would result in another case? Seems a student named Jake Rogers was murdered at the high school last week. And an undercover police detective wants me to pose as a student to search for any leads at the school. So it's undercover I go. I'm calling this case Secrets Can Kill. Love, Nancy.
So every Nancy Drew game starts with one of these letters. She sends them to her dad. I think she has a housekeeper named Hannah that she sometimes sends them to, her boyfriend Ned. She's always sending letters, and I think that later ones are longer than this, maybe going more in depth on what the case is. This seems short to me, and I don't remember her ever naming them in the future in her original letter. I could just be forgetting that maybe she did. But yeah, so they always start with a letter like this. So now I believe we are in Aunt Eloise's house since she was visiting her in Florida. And the first thing you have to do in an Nancy Drew game is look at everything. So let's go check out this letter on the desk right here. Nancy, I need to close the school library early today. Oh, I had to close the school library early today, but if you need to do any research for your case, the key to the library is in the safe. Remember not to enter in a wrong combination. Be careful, Aunt Eloise. That letter is just really making me want to enter the wrong combination on purpose because I want to know what happens. It's underlined. This makes me think there's like a bomb or something. Or maybe that I will only get one chance for some reason. And then in this drawer we have let's see, Paseo del Mar University and the Sigma Phi Kappa Delta sorority cordially invites you to attend the 25th annual Sigma Phi Kappa Delta sorority reunion, Saturday the 23rd, the Emerald Crest Ballroom, Paseo del Mar Country Club, Paseo del Mar, Florida. Round-robin golf tournament starts at 3:30, reception and dinner at 7 o'clock. Dessert and dancing immediately following. Alright, so Aunt Eloise apparently is or was in college, a member of the Sigma Phi Kappa Delta sorority. That's interesting to know. Probably need to know that. Just as a, if Nancy reads something, it's going to be important later on in the story, generally. So now let's check out this sitting room, because there's nothing else in the entranceway. Anything in here? Nope. Alright, so then we have just this little book stand here. Hidden clues are everywhere. The Haunted Ghost Bridge. Strange things have happened on this bridge. Some people have reported hearing screams and cries from below the span. Others have reported ghostly figures looming at the end, and even others have felt a cold tingling sensation throughout their body when crossing. No one is certain about the origin of these sightings, but the first documented case of spectral phenomenon occurred around the turn of the last century when a troop of Girl Scouts camped out here. All returned with their hair turned white. None of the frightened campers spoke a word until a year later. A year! At first the girls just babbled incoherently, or screamed, or laughed. The psychiatrist specializing in traumatic experience was asked to examine the girls, but the girls would only say one phrase: follow the X to the spot below. Because this phrase is in black and is italicized, I'm actually going to take a picture of it, because I get the idea that that's important, and I will want it for later. So, zoom in, and pan down. Save. Alright, so I can only have 30 pictures, unfortunately, so it might not always do to have this, so we can look at this chest here. It doesn't look like there's anything... Oh! Okay. So you can't, there's nothing actually here, but I did just gather 2 coins. So apparently when it sparkles like that, you can find quarters. Cool. Good to know. So now we have this bookcase. There's a book I can read here. Looks like just one. Alright. Oh, not a book to read, just a key to a lounge of some kind. Ah yes, the teacher's lounge key. Somehow Nancy knew it would be hidden in that specific book. Wait, can I? Is there more than one book there, or is it just one? Nope, it's just one. Alright, so we have a key to the teacher's lounge now. That's exciting. Here's the TV. Can I watch TV? Nope, no TV for me. I might have to fix that later, actually. Nancy often has to do odd jobs around places, fixing things, like if she finds a videotape later, she'll need to fix it in order to be able to watch it, obviously. Alright, so then this book that Nancy has decided is important. During her trip with Maxine, Maggie learned an old hiker's trick. Are Lena and Maggie coming to tea? Inquired Carl. No, they've gone to see the Bandit's Treasure at the Land O'Lakes Theater, replied Anya. Brady Armstrong is playing the lead. Ooh, I once visited Brady's restaurant in Napa, California, squealed Renata. It's called Mama Loney's. It was magnificent. I ate there, said Carl, and got sick on a jellyfish sandwich. Ah! Bob whinnied. Oh, offered Renata, you should have tried the dog's eye. It was Robin Hood. A barking dog would do well to hold his tongue in that neighborhood, joked Carl. Everyone laughed. I rarely dine out, complained Anya. Only once in a blue moon. Stifling a yawn, Renata put down her Glam Glam magazine. When are we going to return to the Big Island? Mike stood up and glared at Renata. Pish, pish, you know I'll never go back there. Oh, don't be such a baby, scolded Renata. Mike is afraid to go back because he got bit by a spider there, she explained to the other guest. He went to the ER, and the bill was huge because his copay is so much. My dad wants to preach and complain about high insurance costs, muttered Lucas. You know, I always wanted to be an astronaut, Carl interrupted. Did you hear that Daryl is going to the Air Force Academy? Is he? Asked Renata, offering a place of cutlets to her guests. So this is an interesting book because I am pretty sure it cannot possibly have been in the original game because it is chock full of references to Nancy Drew games in the future. And in the future, I mean, this is the first one, so later Nancy Drew games. Brady Armstrong is a character in another one. What else? Renata, which is how I know how to pronounce the name, is a character from another game. Someone can get sick on a jellyfish sandwich. You later learn what dog's eye and Robin Hood mean in this context. You know, all of these things, pretty much every single sentence has a reference to a later Nancy Drew game. So I don't know if this is just here as a, you know, oh, have you played all the games? Here's a bunch of references. Or if we'll actually need this later on in the story. So take note that this is here, lots of references and possibly like a book including information we'll need later. Is there anything else over here? Oh yes, a drawer. What's in the drawer? From the desk of Eloise Drew, head librarian. Alright, so she's the librarian at the high school. That's why she's involved in this case. Reminders. Talk to Jake about library books out of order. Call Nancy to get flight number. Call Jackie about Spanish schools. I'm guessing Nancy's going to have to put the books in the library back in order. She'll probably like need something from Jake, and he'll say, alright, but I don't have time to do that unless you put these books in order. Things in this game always seem to happen that way. She's always doing things for other people, which actually isn't a bad thing because they're doing a bunch of stuff for her. So, you know. And most games she doesn't have any money at all, and 2 quarters aren't going to get her much, even in 1999. Which this is not, because look at her fancy cell phone. Anyway, and then we can push back this curtain, or this wall hanging, which Nancy knows, apparently, there's a safe behind it. I'm guessing she actually already knew that this is her aunt's house, and her aunt apparently told her where the safe was, because in the letter it said, oh, don't say it in the wrong order. I really want to see what happens if you do it in the wrong order, so I'm just going to do it. Nope. Ooh, it beeped at me. Oh no. Anyway, so these are all Greek letters, and the sorority that the aunt was part of has a Greek letter name. So I'm going to type in the name of the sorority, which is Sigma Phi Kappa Delta. Here it is, Sigma Phi Kappa Delta. So, okay, we have Sigma Phi Kappa Delta. Alright, so basically that huge warning about typing in the wrong thing was just a complete waste of time. And then we have this box. Okay, so we have to order these so that they look like the picture on the outside. And I found with these puzzles it's always best to start with the upper left-hand corner, which I think is this piece, the one with the white on it, the window or something on it. There we go. This is next. And then in this corner, it's probably going to be this piece here. So what I'm going to do is put the sort of bring them around in a circle so that they line up properly when I get back to the top. I don't suppose, no, okay. In later Nancy Drew games, you can change entire rows at the same time. And there you go. Alright, solved the puzzle. And we got from it Eloise's login name and password, which, did Nancy make a note of that? Observations? Yes, she did. Alright, we'll probably need that later when we get to the library, and we can look at Eloise's files. Ooh, there's probably something useful in there. But there's nothing else in the safe. So I think, since we can't go through this door here, and there's nothing about, I think we have pretty much exhausted this on Eloise's house for now. Oh, alright, her cell phone's ringing.
Nancy Drew, Detective Beach here. How are you?
Good, and yourself?
Frustrated, Nancy. I need some leads, and you're my man. Well, woman, teen, student, whatever. I'll be at Maxine's Diner. Come see me when you found out anything. All contact should be through me.
Can do. So what's our cover?
Our what?
Our cover. Who should I say you are if anyone sees us and asks?
Oh, right. I'll be your uncle. Uncle Steve. I gotta go now. If you need anything else, come see me at Maxine's. I'm wearing glasses and a green striped shirt.
Alright. So we can go to Maxine's Diner. I do actually remember this page. You have your Aunt Eloise's house, Maxine's Diner, and the school, where we spend most of our time, I think. And what's funny is what I remember about this page is how you actually had to switch discs. We had like 2 discs, I think. Eloise's house and Maxine's Diner was on one disc, and then the high school was on another. And so when my mom and I were playing it, we would like carefully decide what to do so that we had as few CD switches as possible. However, this is a digital download game, and there are no CDs involved anymore at all. So that's what happens to technology in 20 years, which is pretty cool. But let's head over to Maxine's Diner, talk to Detective Beach, or Uncle Steve, whatever his name is. But first, let's talk to this guy.
Welcome to Maxine's. I'm Daryl Gray.
Hello,
I don't
Daryl.
think I've seen you here before.
Nope.
My name's Nancy Drew. I just moved down here.
Then you'll be attending Paseo Del Mar High. I'm your student council president. If there's anything you need, just let me know.
Thanks. I might just take you up on that offer.
So, what can I do for you?
Tell me about the diner.
Tell me about Maxine's.
Maxine's is the best diner in Florida.
Ooh.
The place is usually packed. I guess all the police that were camping out here scared the kids away. Now there's just a creepy old guy hanging around wearing an ugly green shirt.
Should we claim that it's the uncle, or should we ask about high school? It usually doesn't matter what you say in these Nancy Drew games. You get all the information you need and everything. But I think I'm going to tell him it's his uncle. It's my
Daryl,
uncle.
that's my uncle.
Oops. Oh, sorry, Nancy. Quick, Daryl, change the subject.
That's okay. No offense taken. You said there were a lot of police here. What happened?
One of the students was murdered in the school last week.
Oh, Nancy didn't know that. What happened?
What happened?
Someone beat up this guy, Jake Rogers, and then threw him down a flight of stairs. He worked here, but I didn't really know him. He kept mainly to himself.
That's terrible.
That's terrible.
I know. They only now just reopened the school.
Who did it?
No one knows, and the police are keeping pretty clammed up about it. But my resources say they're calling in some special detective. Maybe even the FBI.
Ooh. Am I the special detective? Or is Uncle Steve or whatever Detective Beach? Anyway, let's ask if Jake had enemies.
Did this Jake guy have any enemies?
Sure, doesn't everyone?
Maybe?
I should get back to work. Nice meeting you, Nancy.
That was an interesting pause there.
Bye.
See ya.
Alright, let's go talk to, unless there's anything I can do. I can head over that direction, but I think first I'm gonna go talk to the detective.
Uncle Steve!
Nancy! Why, I haven't seen you since, for a long time. How's your...
Aunt Eloise. Oh, she's fine. And Dad says hello.
You're staying with your aunt, right?
Yes.
So, what do you got for me?
Well, I was hoping you could debrief me on the investigation.
Oh, sure. I'm just a bit... Well, my undercover assignments are usually not so... suburban.
I understand.
The victim was a senior named Jake Rogers. As usual, none of the family, teachers, or students know about any enemies he may have had. Nothing came up from searching his home, computer, cell phone, or locker. His bank records tell a different story. He had a fairly large savings account and a lot of cash deposits. We suspect he was involved in something shady. Drugs, gambling, or blackmail. That's where you fit in. Talk to the students and see what you can find out. We think he might have kept information about his activities in a notebook or journal. So keep a lookout for anything like that. Anything else?
I don't think so. I don't think this guy is a particularly good detective.
See you around.
Like, he didn't know anything about
Goodbye,
being
Nancy.
undercover or anything like that. Maybe he did it. Maybe he's the perpetrator or whatever. Can I look at these? No. Can I look at these? Ooh, I can look at that. There are colored letters on this menu. Cash cow. Cash Cow is a game. I don't know if it's a game in this place or not. XER3. I'm gonna take a picture of this. I don't know what it's actually meant for or anything, but it seems like it might have some important things about it. So I'm gonna take a picture. Save that. I might need it later. Those colors, I don't know if I like OUR, that spells something, but A doesn't. Oh, J. I don't know. I'll look at it at some point when I have a reason to think it means something, basically. I think is what I'm gonna do. Here's another one, but yeah, it's exactly the same. Down to the XER3 thing. XE means xenon to me. It's an atomic abbreviation. Ooh, I could spend one of my quarters on this, but I don't really want to spend money on a jukebox. That doesn't sound... for not knowing any reason, for not having any reason to do it. Oh, apparently I'm playing Barnacle Blast. I didn't realize I was using a quarter for that. Alright, I guess I'll use a quarter for this. Didn't really mean to do that either. Again, I don't have a reason to play this game, and I only had 2 quarters. So, anyway, ahoy, matey! Your job be to scrub our barnacle-ridden decks by blasting them out of the way with your magic ball. But be on the lookout for creatures and objects with special powers. Scrubbing a chest increases your paddle size. Scrubbing a mine decreases your paddle size. Scrubbing an enemy slows down the magic ball. Scrubbing a whirlpool speeds up the magic ball. Alright. I have played this on previous Nancy Drew games and have other experience with games like it, so hopefully I won't fail too badly. Alright. So... there we go. No! I missed! Okay. Trying this again. Oh, I love it when it does that. Gets a bunch of barnacles all at once. Lots of barnacles all at once. Of course, now that I'm getting down to just a few left, it's hard to aim it properly, but hopefully I'll get them without losing the ball. There we go. There's a couple. And then one more. Hit it, hit it, hit it. I won! How exciting. What did I win? Oh, okay, I just got to go to level 2. Alright, so this got a little bit long. I had never been planning on actually playing this game. I was going to save my quarters, but then I accidentally clicked on it. So I ended up playing, I think, 4 levels, something like that. So I decided to speed it up and let you watch the speeded up version of the game. It's kind of fun to watch. It looks like I'm a lot better at it than I actually was, because you just see it going super fast. I got a whole bunch of those treasure chests that made the bar longer. But I think this is the level I gave up on, because once I got down to 1 barnacle, it was just going really slowly and I couldn't manage to actually hit it. There, now I'm down to 1. So in a few seconds I'll give up and hit quit. And then we'll go back to Nancy Drew games, rather than Barnacle Blast. Alright. Aggregation is out of order. I bet Nancy will have to fix that at some point. But I don't remember doing that in the other game. And then there was a direction I could go here. So let's head back here. Am I allowed to go out? Will Daryl be upset if I go into the kitchen? No, he won't. Alright, I'm just allowed in the kitchen then. I wonder if there are any quarters back here. Ooh. I just took something. What did I just take? A ladle. Apparently Nancy decided that I needed a soup ladle, so I have a ladle now. Ooh, and a piece of paper. Dear Daryl, I need to break off our date to the Sadie Hawkins dance. I'm very, very sorry, but something suddenly came up. Connie. Wonder who Connie is. Nothing here. Nothing here. Ooh, there's something on the wall. To Maxine, Daryl, Carl, Uli, and Mel. From Jake Rogers. Closing procedure. Maxine wanted me to write a memo describing the finer points of closing the diner. Some people think there are some secrets to the process, but it couldn't be easier. After totaling out the cash register, the cashier brings the cook the recipes to store in the potato bin. You store the receipts. Did I say recipes? You store the receipts in the potato bin? Okay. The cook also needs to check the life expiration dates on all foods and throw out expired ones. The cashier and cook get all food crumbs off the counter. The cook preps all condiments for the next day. All surfaces are washed so they're bright and shiny. And then there's a bunch of numbers down here and HGL3, which, especially after seeing that menu with the abbreviation for xenon on it, HG means mercury to me. It's also from the atomic table. So I'm going to take a picture of this because I think those numbers are important. And I think that specifically the numbers are important. So I'm going to zoom in just a little bit, make sure I have all the numbers clearly on my picture because they look important to me. What else is in this kitchen? Can I go back there? Nope. Alright, so just this work schedule and doesn't seem particularly important, just like who works when on what days, but there is a little thing down at the bottom that I want to take a picture of. Because everything that looks out of place is probably important. So take a picture of that. And then I can look at this chopped up tomato. Why is it that there's no one back here actually doing anything with this tomato stuff? And then nothing here. I already took a ladle from here because I needed the ladle and I read the thing. So I think that's about it that I can do for this diner. I've talked to Daryl, I've talked to Uncle Steve. Daryl doesn't do a very good job of cleaning up around here. There's a bunch of tables that have plates on them. And if it was as busy as he said it was, he should probably keep it fairly clean, even if there is a creepy guy in the corner. Alright, so we have explored Aunt Eloise's house and Maxine's diner as at your first view of each of those. I think I'm going to end this here then. Thank you for watching, and I will see you next time.